Are you there, David?
You're aware of a deeper existence.
Are you there, David?
Maybe a temporary reassurance that indeed there is no beginning, no end. And you find yourself struggling to comprehend a deep mystery.
En af musikhistoriens allerstørste kunstnere har ganske passende fået en af filmhistoriens allerbedste musikdokumentarer. Den fænomenale Moonage Daydream suger os helt ind i David Bowies forunderlige musikalske univers og kreativ sind, takket være en unik og utraditionel blanding af arkivmateriale, kunstneriske montager, koncertoptagelser og lydbidder med Bowies egne refleksioner, som det har taget instruktøren Brett Morgens 5 år at stykke sammen. Har altså ingen konventionelle tilbageskuende interviews med Bowies familie, venner eller kollegaer, og i stedet får Bowies egne ord og kunst lov til at føre ordet i en fortryllende konstellation af musik, lyd og billeder, der er lige så gådefuld og genial som Bowie selv.
And how about the shoes? Are those men's shoes or women's shoes or bisexual shoes? They're shoes, silly.
Og vi fik forleden en kort snak med netop Brett Morgen om hans seneste opus. Morgen er kendt for sine gennemarbejdede og æstetiske personportrætter, såsom den prisbelønnede The Kid Stays in the Picture om den legendariske filmproducer Robert Evans, og en anden musikalsk portrætfilm, Cobain, Montage of Heck, som dykkede ned i den afdøde Nirvana-forsangers turbulente liv.
I don't know how anybody deals with having your whole family reject you.
Og vi talte også med Moonage Daydreams Oscar-belønnede lyd- og musikmixer Paul Massey. En erfaren herre med flere lamslående lydsider på CV'et, inklusive Bohemian Rhapsody, No Time to Die, Le Mans 66, Battleship og ikke mindst Master and Commander. Moonage Daydream kan netop nu ses og høres i de danske biografsale, og det skal den altså også. En vigtig pointe, som Morgen og Massey også var gode til at slå fast i vores korte interview med det kreative makkerpar.
I almost feel bad starting off with a bit of a technical question because this is a movie that's driven by raw creativity.
He's only going to be comfortable with the technical stuff.
Yeah, that is perfect.
So
that's
please
great.
keep it technical.
Perfect. But I know you were given 5 million assets by the Bowie estate in terms of recordings and journals and drawings, all this different sort of stuff from Bowie on Bowie. And how do you go about assorting all that stuff and building some sort of structure from all that?
Well, the only way I know how to do it is to sort of look at everything chronologically, assemble everything chronologically, and then sort of observe, go through it and see what sort of through lines appear and what sort of opportunities the material presents. And in this instance, David is quite consistent in his interviews throughout his career with certain themes like mortality, aging, the creative process, but mainly transience that he would constantly come back to. David would joke that to the mainstream media, his through line was changes, but it was really transience. Which I think is a bit broader and is not just about fashion, but deals with spirituality and some other components.
My strivings to have some kind of spiritual base were really, really strong all my life. And I think I tried to amalgamate my own bedrock of spirituality. I mean, I was a Buddhist on Tuesday, and I was into Nietzsche by Friday.
You know, there's one thing I couldn't help but wonder while watching the film, that obviously one of the amazing things about David Bowie is how enigmatic he was as an artist and as a person. Even the movie itself also states, you know, he can't himself pinpoint who is David Bowie really. And I wondered, for you as an artist, was that a balancing act, you know, not distilling too much of the mystery, you know, adhering to that creed of being so enigmatic and, you know, not being presumptuous about making statements about him as an artist and as a person just by virtue of how how you piece the material together?
Well, you know, it actually worked well because before I knew I was doing Bowie, I was interested in making a non-biographical, immersive IMAX film. So that was going to be the plan, regardless of who the subject was. With David Bowie in particular, the thing that has always drawn me towards him is the mystery, the enigma. And that's what I wanted to lean into as opposed to try to deconstruct. There are dozens of books about Bowie, one of the most well-written about subjects of our time. So I think his biography is fairly well-known and out there, and I wanted to offer audiences something unique that they can't get at home or in a book. And really what it was about for me was listening to Bowie's music in a movie theater. You know, when I grew up, everyone I knew had a listening station at home where we would go and listen to albums. But it seems that that's kind of not such a thing so much anymore. And just straight up, theaters have I don't know anyone who has a home theater system as good as IMAX, except maybe Paul.
No, in fact, I don't. But I work in one.
I imagine you have an Atmos system at home, of course, Paul.
Well, unfortunately, my wife won't allow that.
You've always been so good at being convincing, you know, whatever it was at the time.
Yeah,
I mean, is it possible that this is just another role?
I believe that there is a thread of meaning running through my life at the moment that I have no wish at the moment to break, but I feel it's leading somewhere fulfilling and positive. And if I feel that way, then I make every effort to make that part of my music now.
And you as well, Paul, will you also, you know, working with pieces of music that are borderline perfect, you know, that sort of awe in terms of toying around with this material that's his and that's so unique.
Well, I mean, we remixed all of the music from the original multi-tracks where they were available. And I think, yeah, one of the huge responsibilities was don't mess this up because, you know, there's such iconic pieces of music that the audience has known and loved for so many years. But what we did want to do and what we had the opportunity to do with the original multi-tracks was bring that music hopefully to the level that everyone was used to, but also bring it into the theatrical space, be it IMAX or Dolby Atmos or whatever the format was. And in that way, I think we've been able to create a little bit of definition on some, like a little piano lick or a guitar line or something that wasn't necessarily obvious within the stereo mixes originally.
I know when to go out.
And we're not trying to make them different from the originals, but I think we've managed to bring them into the theatrical space in a more immersive way that hopefully the audiences have never heard before and will enjoy.
I think it was one of the wonderful challenges of the film was to take art that's recorded in stereo and then conform that for Atmos, for all these different formats. And it wasn't about constantly going back and listening over and over and over to what it originally sounded like, because that wasn't going to reveal much, because we had a different environment and a different space and different needs to nurture. And once we had the stems, certain musical accents could be sort of sound design components. So we can lean into a piano where it might have been tucked away in the mix because we were trying to accentuate the edit points. And
yeah, I mean, we could use also with Brett's visual edit, we could accentuate different cuts and perspectives, especially in the live performances, with different instrumentation and highlight for the audience in a way that they've never heard before and never experienced before. And I think it's actually very exciting. And that was a huge responsibility, but also a challenge, but also very rewarding. By the time we got to the end of that, I think we were all very, very happy with that.
Thank you so much for your amazing movie. And also, Paul, I just wanted to say, Master Commander, my favorite all-time audio mix. I've terrorized neighbors with that for years.
On the uproar! Fire!
thank you so much. Thank you so much for this movie. And looking forward to see what you do next. And hearing what you do next.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
What's your fantasy?
Bowie.